Hey there, loves! This is Dr. Misty with a bonus newsletter subscriber-only episode of Untamed Ember, and today we're diving into something that happens constantly, but almost nobody talks about: how your nervous system is literally contagious. You know that moment when you walk into a room and suddenly feel anxious for no reason? Or when your partner comes home stressed and within minutes you're both spiraling? Or when you're finally feeling calm and then one phone call with your family sends you straight back into chaos? That's not coincidence. That's not you being too sensitive. That's nervous system contagion, the scientific reality that emotional states literally spread between people like a virus you never signed up to catch. If you've ever wondered why some people feel like emotional vampires while others feel like nervous system medicine, why you can't seem to stay regulated around certain people, or how to maintain your own emotional equilibrium in a world full of dysregulated humans, this episode is for you. So let's start with the science that nobody taught you in school. Your nervous system doesn't exist in isolation. It's constantly communicating with every other nervous system around you through what researchers call unconscious mimicry, your body automatically matching the breathing patterns, heart rate, and muscle tension of people near you. This happens through mirror neurons, specialized brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing that same action. Mirror neurons are why you automatically yawn when someone else yawns, why you tense up when you see someone else in pain, and why you can literally feel someone's anxiety in your own body. But here's where it gets wild. This mirroring doesn't just happen with obvious actions. Your nervous system is constantly scanning and matching the subtle autonomic states of people around you. Their breathing rhythm, their heart rate variability, the micro expressions on their face, the tension patterns in their body. This is supposed to be a feature, not a bug. Nervous system contagion evolved to help us connect, attune to each other, and coordinate as groups. When someone in your tribe was scared, everyone needed to feel that fear to survive. When someone was calm and safe, that helped regulate the whole group. But in our modern world, where we're constantly surrounded by stressed, dysregulated people, this ancient survival mechanism can become a nightmare. You walk into your office and absorb your coworkers' anxiety. You scroll social media and pick up the collective outrage and despair. You spend time with family and leave feeling emotionally hungover from absorbing everyone else's unprocessed trauma. And if you're an empath, a highly sensitive person, or neurodivergent, your nervous system is often even more attuned to these subtle signals, making you a walking emotional sponge in a world full of dysregulated people. Now, let's talk about why some of us are more vulnerable to this than others. If you identify as an empath or highly sensitive person, your nervous system likely has what researchers call increased sensory processing sensitivity. You're literally wired to pick up on subtler environmental cues, including the emotional states of other people. This isn't a character flaw or something to fix. It's a neurobiological trait that exists in about 20% of the population. But in a world that's chronically overstimulated and emotionally dysregulated, this trait can feel like a curse instead of a gift. Add neurodivergence to the mix, and it gets even more complex. Many autistic and ADHD folks have differences in interoception, which is your ability to sense what's happening inside your own body. When you're less connected to your own internal signals, it becomes harder to distinguish between your emotions or someone else's. You might absorb someone's anxiety and genuinely not realize it's not yours. For trauma survivors, nervous system contagion can trigger old patterns of hypervigilance. If you grew up in an environment where other people's emotional states determined your safety, your nervous system learned to constantly monitor and match the emotions around you as a survival strategy. You became an expert at reading the room and adjusting accordingly, but you may have lost touch with what you actually feel underneath all that adaptation. This is where we need to distinguish between empathy and emotional absorption. Empathy is feeling with someone while maintaining your own emotional boundaries. Emotional absorption is unconsciously taking on someone else's emotional state as if it were your own. True empathy actually requires good nervous system regulation. When you're regulated, you can feel compassion for someone's experience without becoming dysregulated yourself. You can hold space for their emotions without drowning in them. But emotional absorption is what happens when your nervous system is already compromised. It's when your boundaries are fuzzy, when you haven't learned the skill of staying connected to your own center while remaining open to others. So how do you stay regulated in the presence of dysregulated people? The first step is developing what I call nervous system literacy, the ability to recognize when you're absorbing someone else's emotional state versus experiencing your own emotions. Start by asking yourself, when did this feeling begin? Was I feeling this way before I interacted with this person? Does this emotion feel familiar to my usual patterns? Or does it feel foreign, like I'm wearing someone else's clothes? This isn't about becoming emotionally closed off or refusing to care about people. It's about developing the capacity to feel with others without losing yourself in the process. One of the most powerful tools for this is what I call energetic differentiation. Before you interact with someone who tends to dysregulate you, take a moment to notice your current emotional state, name it, and feel it in your body. This creates a baseline that you can return to during the interaction. Practice what therapists call dual awareness. That means staying connected to both your own internal experience and your awareness of the other person. Notice when you start to shift into their emotional state, and gently redirect your attention back to your own breathing, your own body, and your own center. Another crucial practice is creating what I call regulation rituals after exposure to dysregulated people. This might be taking a shower and imagining washing off any energy that isn't yours. It might be spending time in nature to reset your nervous system. It might be doing some form of movement that helps you reconnect with your own body. For my neurodivergent folks especially, this might include sensory regulation practices, stimming, using fidget tools, or engaging in activities that help you process the sensory overwhelm that often comes with emotional absorption. Here's something nobody talks about. You get to choose who you expose your nervous system to. You don't have to be equally available to everyone. Some people are nervous system medicine. Being around them actually helps you feel more regulated, more like yourself. Other people are nervous system chaos. They consistently leave you feeling drained, anxious, or emotionally hungover. This isn't about judging people or writing them off completely, but it is about recognizing that your nervous system has needs, and one of those needs is spending more time with people who support your regulation rather than undermining it. Sometimes this means setting different kinds of boundaries with different people. Maybe you can handle your anxious friend better over text than in person. Maybe you need to limit visits with family members to shorter time periods. Maybe you need to have difficult conversations when you're well-regulated rather than when you're already dysregulated. Co-regulation is also a powerful tool when it's conscious and consensual. This is when two people deliberately sync their nervous systems in a way that supports both of their regulation. It might look like breathing together, making eye contact while focusing on feeling grounded, or simply spending time together in a calm, present way. The difference between co-regulation and nervous system contagion is intention and awareness. In co-regulation, you're both actively participating in creating a regulated state together. In nervous system contagion, you're unconsciously absorbing whatever state the other person is broadcasting. As we wrap up today's exploration, I want you to remember this. Your nervous system is not required to be available to everyone at all times. You're not a walking emotional first aid kit for everyone else's dysregulation. Learning to stay regulated in relationship isn't selfish. It's actually the most generous thing you can do. When you maintain your own regulation, you become a source of nervous system medicine for others rather than adding to the collective chaos. You don't have to carry everyone else's emotional chaos. You don't have to absorb your family's generational trauma every time you see them. You don't have to take on your coworkers' stress as if it were your own responsibility. Your nervous system is yours. Your emotional experience belongs to you. Learning to maintain that sovereignty while still remaining open to connection is the skill that will change your relationships, your mental health, and your entire experience of moving through the world. This week, I invite you to notice who in your life feels like nervous system medicine and who feels like nervous system chaos. There's no judgment here, just information that can help you make more conscious choices about how you engage. This is Dr. Misty with Untamed Ember reminding you that your sensitivity is not a weakness. It's a superpower that deserves protection, and you get to decide how and when to use it. Until next time, stay regulated out there.